Yes, good evening to all. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, madam. First, sorry for the inconvenience. I had scheduled it for 6 to 7, uh, and then I rescheduled it to 8 to 9. Sorry for that. Uh, okay, let me start. I think because it will take some time. So if I start now, I can manage to complete it by 9:30. Okay. The topic
Okay,
is,
ready.
yeah, I
Yes, sir.
request others to please mute. Okay. Okay. The topic is writing Google App scripts for building the cloud-based applications. So here, I'll take you through the hands-on session. I just don't want to go with the PPT. So I'll try to finish this PPT as soon as possible. So only basic things I would like to explain through this PPT, and after that I'll take you through the live hands-on session where you'll understand how to write the Google App scripts for building the cloud-based applications. Now, when I say cloud-based applications, you don't require a server. You don't have to create your own. You don't have to buy your own server, manage the server, all these things. You don't require the server at all. So you can go for developing the applications in the cloud, and they can be run directly from there. So you don't have your server, and no storage. Storage is also not required. So yours is only the program, your logic, okay, or the idea. So which you're going to write by using the Google App scripts. So that is what we do now, and you can make it publicly available to different users to use. Okay, let me start. So first, and here as a cloud database, I'll be using the Firebase, which is the Google real-time database. So history on a small history on the Firebase and why we use the Firebase database. So general architecture and the services. So what is a Firebase? Firebase is basically a NoSQL cloud-based database. Okay, so it is completely based on the JSON form of storage, and it is nowhere related to your structured query language. So that is the reason we say it is a NoSQL database. Okay, so Firebase is a fully managed platform for building so iOS applications, Android applications you can build, web applications. So one Firebase application, one Firebase database, so can be used in all these type of applications. So for example, you have the application developed using iOS, Android, web apps. So the same Firebase database can be made compatible with all these things. So the same application you have implemented using on iOS, on Android, and you have the web version across all these uh, cross-platform applications, the same Firebase database can be used. And it provides automatic data synchronization, also authentication services. So you can go for implementing the authentication services, which says which user should have access to what data, all these things. And messaging, cloud messaging also you can do. And there is something called as file storage also. So when I say the data, it is not only the textual or the numerical data, it is also possible for you to store any type of files. Either it could be a simple text file, Word file, PDFs, audio file, video files, all these things can be stored. And in addition to all these things, it also provides us the analytics. So you can uh, check how the application which is making use of the Firebase database uh, users, who are all the users, from which country the users are using your application and accessing the Firebase database. So when they are using, how many female count, male count, all this complete analytics around, I think 500 events you can track. Okay, and in each event there are around 25 attributes, all these things, and very complete analytics of the application usage can be obtained. So this is about the Firebase, which is a no SQL database. Okay. So and very brief into the Firebase, again, a set of tools that provides a full suite for app development. So when I say app development, you can either go for developing the iOS, Android app, or the web app. And it's a NoSQL database. So, and it's based on the Node.js. So this is another framework which is used in order to develop the web applications. And here the backend code is written using the JavaScript. Even when the Google App Scripts, what I'm saying, so even the Google App Scripts are also written by using the JavaScripts. So here we use the extension as .gs, not as .js, because the JavaScripts customized for the Google. So small history. So this Firebase database, it was founded in the year 2011 by Andrew Lee and James. Uh, and later it was acquired by Google in the year 2014, and now it is completely managed by the Google. Now this data centers for real-time Firebase database are there are three data centers, one in US, one in Singapore, and one in Russia, and they are already started the new data centers, around 8 more data centers in different parts of the world. So that means anything that we store into the real-time Firebase database, as of now, it is stored across 3 different places of the entire world. And for us, the closest data center is in Singapore. So why to use the Firebase? Because you can create the application without the backend server. As I already mentioned, you don't require the server. So you don't require the physical resources. And no extra money spent for the backend server. You don't have to spend by the high-end backend server, all these things. And faster. And you can also send the push notifications. So we have something called as Google push notifications. So using that service, it is possible for you to send the notification messages to the users. So group of users you can send. If you want to target and send to one user, so that is also possible. And NoSQL database it is, as I already mentioned, it is much more faster and also scalable than compared to the relational databases. So and even auto backup facility is also there. So free version auto backup facility is not there. So if you go for the paid version, you will get this service also, auto backup facility, and many more are there. So now architecture with Firebase, you in order to program using the Firebase, there are libraries available for JavaScript, core Java, Android, iOS, and there is something called as RESTful API also, which you can use. Say, for example, I don't want to use JavaScript, Java, or Android or iOS. So I just want to make my application, which I'm designing using the C# to communicate with the Firebase. So then it can be easily done by using the RESTful APIs. So this is the Firebase. You can make the applications running on various devices, same application, either it could be running on the Android operating system or on the iOS or on the web application. So sorry, Windows operating system or Linux operating system, all these things can be made to efficiently communicate with the Firebase using the RESTful APIs or the software development kit. And so these are the services which are available for the developer. So we have the real-time database. So authentication, cloud messaging you can do. This is for the storage. You can also go for storing the different types of files here, audio, video, all these things. So hosting also it provides. So remote configuration, and there is also a test lab. Test lab, of course, it is not available for the free version. It is available for the paid version where you can go for testing how your app performs uh, and different devices. Okay, simultaneously you can run, and you can before deploying you can check how your app is performing, and then you can also obtain the crashing report. So for what cases your app is failing, either it could be a iOS app or Android app or the web application. So apart from that, it also provides these things, push notifications, as I already said, So app indexing, so it will also help you in getting your app indexed and get the higher ranks in the search engines. And then dynamic links, so it also has the provision for pushing the dynamic links in order to customize the page that is displayed to the user as per his needs. That is something called as recommendations or personalization. So invites, and you can also add the AdWords, so advertisement words, and by doing all these things, even you can earn the money. So okay, I think if I go in detail with all these things, it will take time. So analytics, this is what I mentioned. So once your app is up and running and using the Firebase database, so you can get the analytics of around 500 events. Okay, so and in each event around 25 attributes. So something like the so it displays something like this. So in India, in which place the people are using, how many people are using, okay, all these things you can obtain. So in the graphical display. So and then cloud messaging, as already mentioned, it can send billions of messages with 95% of messages sent in 250 milliseconds. So that is the power the Google Cloud messaging has. So and then authentication part also. So Google Firebase can be authenticated using the Google itself, or you can go for authenticating using the Facebook, Twitter, all these things. Yeah. And then it also provides the storage. So you can go for storing the text files, audio files, and video files, all these things. And this is what I mentioned. So right now there are 3 active data centers for the Google real-time database. So one in US, Russia, and another one is Singapore. So this is what is very close to us, and the one which are not highlighted and which are not enabled. So those are the there. So they have planned for the data centers. That means 8 more additional data centers for the real-time database will come. 3 plus 8 around 11 data centers throughout the world. And you can just imagine if you store something into the Firebase real-time database. So in the near future, it will get stored across 11 data centers which are distributed throughout the world. So right now we have them distributed in 3 of the data centers. Okay, and this is for the test lab because this comes with the paid version. Let me not touch this. Okay, crash reporting. So using the test lab, you can go for testing your app, how it performs on various devices. And then if it fails, you also get the crash report. So, okay, and then as I mentioned, you can also send the notifications, okay, to group of users, one individual users, or to all of them. So mobile notifications, and it also helps in app indexing. So dynamic links can also be pushed to the individual users in order to personalize. So and AdWords can also be added. Okay, and by adding the AdWords, you can also make money. And this is the last slide. And after this, I'll go for the ancient session. So Firebase is very powerful and easy to use. This certainly makes a life of a developer less painful, and he can think less about uh, logics related to data management as Firebase does that with. So Firebase is free to use unless you want features like Test Lab. So if you want the features like the Test Lab, then you have to pay. You have to go for the paid version. So, or if you want to increase the cloud storage space, free version comes with some default size. So if you want to go for increasing the cloud space, then you have to go for the paid version. And whatever the data you store in the Firebase, it is forever. It will be there for continuously and till the data centers of the Google exists. Okay, so with this, so let me move on to the ancient session. Now I'll show you how to create a Firebase database and write Google App scripts and make that Google App script communicate with the Firebase database. So if you want to, if you have anything to ask before I proceed, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, first let me start. Now, how to use Google Firebase database? Only thing is you need the Google account. Okay, I have already logged in. So as this arish.batcac82@gmail.com. Okay. Now I need to go to the Firebase. So how do I go? So just in the Google you can search it as Firebase console. Okay. Here or console.firebase.google.com. So I'm here. Now I have already some projects created here. Okay. So these are all the projects which are already existing. These are the Google real-time databases which I have created for other purposes. Let me add a new project. I click here.
Harish
So
sir,
please others mute. Yes, sir.
uh, there are some slow learners in the group. Can you go slow?
Okay, okay. You want me to show again, sir?
Yes.
Oh, 1 second. So log in to your Google account and search for Firebase console. So I've already logged in. Now I'm searching for Firebase console. So this is the link. Or if you remember this, you can directly write console.firebase.google.com. So I'm opening it. Now these are the projects, already existing project. So let me not open these things. So in fact, okay, let me not tell. I'll send tell at the end. So let me add the project, new project. Click on the new project. So it asks you to enter the project name. So I'll write the project name as sample 1. Okay. And then continue. And this, if you want the analytics part, which I mentioned in the PPT, so they should be enabled. And it also says recommended, and by default, it will be enabled. So just click on continue. Now it asks select an account. I go with this. So for analytics, so you have to create something called as ID. So I've already created, I have 2 such IDs. This is what Harish BITCAC I'm using. So create the project. It's creating the project now. So now it says your new project is ready and the name of the project is sample 1. I click on continue. Okay, so now it says, so get started by adding Firebase to your app. So you can either go for linking it to iOS app, Android app, or web app, or all the 3 together you can do. Okay, so let me not do that now. So I'll just go here. Here you can see something. So this is home, and this is for the project settings. This is for authentication, and this is Firestore database. Within the Firebase, there are 2 things: Firebase real-time database and Firestore database also. So, but this is the real-time database. Firebase real-time database. Let me click on this, and other things I'll show you. This is storage, which I mentioned that you can store other type of files also, like PDFs, audio files, video files. All those things can be stored here. And this is for writing the functions. And I'll show you the messaging, cloud messaging. Yeah. So this is in-app messaging and this is cloud messaging. Okay, let me come here. I'll go to the real-time database now. I just say create. Now it asks, so real-time database location. So I said three things: United States, Singapore. Let me choose the one which is very close to me. So Singapore, or this also you can select. So, but anything which you store to the Firebase database, it gets replicated on all the three. But whenever you're querying the data, it gets pulled from the nearest data center. So I'll just select this Singapore and say next. Now here, so this is a security rule. Okay, so let me start it in the locked mode itself. So by default, read and write is set to false. Okay, that means any third party user tries to read or write my database, so they will be denied. Okay, because by default it is false and false. Let me select this and enable, and later I'll go for changing this to true. I've clicked on enable now. Yeah, so my real-time database is created. And what is the link name? This is my link name. So sample one, and this is the link which I need to use in order to make my Google Apps scripts communicate with my real-time database. So let me go to the rules. So in the rules, by default, read and write is set to false. I'll make it as true and true. And I just say publish this new rule. Now setting this read and write to true, it will allow any third party user to read and write my database. So if you want to make the users to access my database only through the app, then these two should be set to false and false. And there is something called as authorization key. You have to use the authorization key in your app. That means if you're using the authorization key in your app, so whether it may be an iOS app, Android app, or web app, so only through those apps you can access this database. So anonymous access will not be possible. Okay. So if you set these two things to false, so authorization key is necessary. Since I'm not showing you how to use the authorization key now, I've set it to true and true. Let me publish this. Okay, now it says, see, security rules are defined as public, so anyone can steal, modify, delete the data in your database. That is what it is saying. Let it be, because this I'm using only for the demo purpose. So let it be. So I'll come back here. Now it's done now. Okay, now we'll start writing the Google Apps scripts. So how to write? So I'll minimize this now. So I'll minimize this. Okay, let me open Note tab. So I need to write my Google Apps script. Let me go to the Google Drive. I'm in my Google Drive now. So let me create a folder here. Demo on Google App script. I'm saying create. So I've created a folder with the name demo on Google App script. I'm opening this. Now here I need to create my Google App script. How to create the Google App script? Again, go to new, more. There's something called as Google App scripts. Can you see this? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I've clicked on that. Now this comes with two editors. So one is a legacy editor and one is the new editor. So let me go with the legacy editor. So I'll dismiss this. Try brand new app script editor. This is saying some new editor. So it's good actually, but there are few things which I want to show in the legacy editor. So let me just say dismiss. Okay, now let me name this. So I need to give the name to my Google app script. So let me give it as sample 2 and then OK. So saving project sample 2. So where is your Google app script? It is there in your drive. Okay, so it is saved here. I'll show you again. See, this is my sample 2. Let me close this. I can close this. Say I want to open my script again and I want to perform the changes. So come to this directory, my drive, demo on Google App Script. So I have my file Google App Script stored here. I'll just open this again. Again, it is asking me whether you want to use the new editor. No, I don't want to. Dismiss. Okay, next. Now here, I need to make my Google App Script communicate with the Firebase database. For that, I need the library. So go to the resources, libraries. Okay. Now I need to add the library, Google Firebase database library. How to get it? There is a key in order to add the library itself. What is that key? I'll show you. I have saved it here. So this is the key. Even I can share this key with you people if you want to work. Oh, sorry. This is the key. I'm pasting it here. And then I clicked on add. So I just paste the key of the library and add. I can see here. I got the library, Firebase app. Okay. Now here I have to choose the version, public version. Say public release 11. 11 is public release. Okay. I have to select this and I have to turn on the development mode. So I'll repeat again. I'll close. Go to resources, libraries. Now how to get the Firebase library? Without this key, you cannot get it. I'm showing you the key. So this is the key. I have copied it. I'm pasting here and I'm saying add. See, Firebase app library is added. Now here there are many different versions, but I have to go for using the public release. So public release is 11 and turn it on. After that, you got to click on save. So libraries for your project has been successfully added. Okay, next. So we can start writing the code. So you can see there is already one file with the name code.gs. By default, it takes the name as code.gs. GS is nothing but Google script, and how Google scripts are written using the JavaScript itself. Okay. Now I need an HTML file. Okay, let me add an HTML file also. So this code.gs is something like the backend code. So everything gets executed at the Google server. Okay. So let me add an HTML file because the front end is required, right? So go to file, new, HTML file. So and the HTML file name, I'll give it as index. This is something like the home page index. I always prefer giving it as index. Okay. So I have two files now. Under the sample2 Google App Script, there are two things. So this is the backend code, which is a Google script, which we normally write by using the JavaScript, and this is my front end code, which is HTML. Okay. So let us start writing. So now I think I've done most of the things. I can use the new editor because It looks nice. So let me click on, let me save once. Yeah. Yeah, I'll click on use new editor. So the same thing gets opened in a new editor. So you get the IntelliSense list here when you're typing. So let me come here. Okay. So let me add a title. So base target top is not necessary for me. I'll remove that. So let me add the title. Sample Google app script. Okay. So let me create the form for adding the student data to Firebase. So we'll try adding the student USN, name, and then semester and section. So we'll try to add these 4 details to the Firebase. Okay. So let me create. So one, let me write first USN, input type is equal to text, and then let me give the ID as USN. One line break let me give, and then name of the student, input type is equal to text again, and ID is equal to, let me take it and give it as yes name, student name, and a break. Next I said semester, input type is equal to text, ID is equal to same, and one more line break let me give. Okay, let me save this. Now, so let me test it how it looks. So I'm just saying test deployment. Okay, 1 second. Let me go back to the legacy editor. So this is the HTML which I wrote. So I go to publish. So in legacy editor, you get it something like this. Deploy a web app. So you need to give the version number you can give here. So execute the app as only me or user accessing the web app, anyone. So let me say deploy. And this is the link to run my code now. So I'll just click on this, run the latest code. So this is review permission, it will ask. This you know, because while entering question paper setting and all, you have done it. So now review permission is not required for question paper setting because I've changed it. The authorization is successful. Okay, so do get is required. So now when I run my app, I want my index.html to be called. And to do that, I need to write a function here in code.js. So let me remove this default function. I'll write the function do get. You got to write the function do get, because this is the first function that gets called whenever you run any Google app script. And here I need to link to my index.html. I need to call index.html. So let me write return HTML service dot create HTML output from file letters. Okay, HTML output from file, and here I got to pass the name of the HTML file, and name of the HTML file is index. and don't give the extension .html. It is not necessary. Now I've edited this. The star says this is not saved, so I have to save this. I click on this. Where it is saved? It is saved in your Google Drive. Now I can go for running this. So again, go to publish and deploy as web app. So let me say run the latest code. See, I created three text boxes, one for entering the USN, one for entering the name, and one for entering the semester. Okay. Now let me continue. OP people are able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now here just below this, so I'll create a button. So because save is required. Input type is equal to submit and value is equal to save. And then I also add the event on click is equal to, I call the function save. So let me save this again, and it's already running here. I'll just refresh it. Yeah, so save button is created. Now I need to write the code. When I click on this, the data entered here should get saved to my Firebase database. So where? Here, I'll open the Firebase sample 2. No. Yeah, this is the real-time database that I created. Okay, so it should get saved here. So let me come here. Okay. Now, so on click, so I'm calling the save. Let me write the function save here as a JavaScript. And you know, scripts are written between these two tags. Within HTML, if you're writing the script, it should be between these two. Okay. And you got to write it inside the head. So now function save. I'm writing the definition of the save now. Okay. So inside save, so I need to read the content of all these text boxes. So what I do, let me create three local variables where one is USN, so another one is yes name, and one more is semester. So three local variables I have created. Is the font okay? Font size? Hello?
Okay, Rishi.
Okay. Now I'll read from these text boxes. Okay. So I just say USN is equal to document. So let me save and switch to the new editor. So go to HTML part and here. USN is equal to document dot get element by ID, and the ID of this is I've given it as USN, and I need its value. So I'm reading the value which is there, which I enter in this text box. I'm assigning it to this variable USN. Now here I need to check whether the user has entered the USN or not. If USN is equal to, there's nothing. If your user has not entered anything for the USN, then I say alert. I display an alert message saying, so please enter USN, and then exit there. Let me save and we will run and check till here. Okay, let me close this. I'll go to deploy, test deployment. Yeah, this is the link. I click on this. My app script is running. Now I don't enter. If without entering anything to the USN, if I click save now, it should say me, please enter. See, it's saying me. That means it's correct. It's going to the function save. Please enter the USN. Okay, I click OK and it is exiting. Next. Let me come back here. So similarly, I go for reading yes name. Yes name is equal to document dot get element by ID. So ID name I've given here as yes name dot value. So again I check. So let me copy this. If yes name is equal to nothing, please enter student name. Now similarly, so let me copy this complete thing, paste it here. Sem is equal to, and the ID is sem. Sem is equal to nothing, then I have to say, please enter Mr. Okay, this much. So I'll click save. So we'll check once. So I click on save now. It says please enter USN. Let me enter the USN 1BI 16CS 350. Now I click on save. It says enter the name. Enter the student name because it was not entered. Let me enter ABC. Now click on save again. It says please enter semester. Say 5th semester. I click on save again. Nothing it says because all the things I've entered. Next. Now here, so after I check all the data is entered by the user, now I have to create a JSON object because I need to write a function here now. My backend code which inserts the data into the Firebase should be written here inside code.js. Okay. Now how do I send all this data to code.js? So you got to convert the data into JSON data. How to convert it? So you got to create a JSON object. Let me write var. So I'm taking the variable name as JSON obj itself, meaning JSON object. Now how to make it as JSON object? Something like this. So open curly braces and closing curly braces. If you close, that is what is the dictionary or nothing but the JSON object. Okay. Now this variable is a JSON object. Now to this JSON object, I need to assign my data. Now how? JSON USN. This is the key because it stores the key value pairs. Later I'll show you. And what I'm assigning is USN. The one which I've assigned to this variable here, I'm assigning it to this. And similarly, JSON object of name is equal to, so I've taken the variable name as name, and then JSON is equal to, I've created the JSON object. Okay. After creating the JSON object, so this is the object, JSON object created, but object cannot be sent. You got to convert this into JSON string. So how to convert? Var. I'll show you the difference between JSON object and the JSON string. So let me take another variable with the name JSON. Instead of object, I'll take it as str. JSON str is equal to, how do I convert this JSON object into the JSON string? There is function JSON Java server object notation dot. There is a function called as stringify, str, because I need to convert it into string. string stringify, stringify, and to this I need to pass my JSON object. Name of the JSON object is JSON OBJ. JSON OBJ. I've converted now. So let me check whether my JSON is correct or not. How? So let me put one alert here. One alert and display JSON str. And before converting it into JSON string, so I'll try to display the JSON object also. Alert JSON OBJ. Let me save and run now. Now you can understand the difference. This is an object and this is the object converted into the string, and you can see all the key value pairs here. So I'll come here. I've saved it. Let me refresh. Okay, I'm writing 1BI 16CS 350 and then ABC and then semester 5. Let me click on save now. See, it's saying object. This is the first alert. It's saying it's a JSON object. So if I click on OK, next I'm converting it into what? String, JSON string. If I click OK, I get one more alert. See what this alert is saying? USN, and this is the USN. This is the key and this is the value. This is the key and this is the value. This is the key and this is the value. That means my function is correct now. So it is building the JSON object, and the JSON object that is built is also successfully converted into a JSON string. And now this JSON string can be sent from the HTML to code.js. How to send it? So is it clear till here? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now how to send it? Now I need to call a function in my code.js. So how do I call the function which you're going to write inside the code.js? This is all. So Google. So please do remember this. Google dot script dot run dot, so lengthy thing with success handler. I'll tell you what is the success handler. Success handler. So I give some function name, but you don't know what it is. Let me call the name of the function as save success. Save success dot with object with object. Oh, sorry, with user object. User object this pointer dot. So let me say save. I'll explain this. And to this, I'll pass my JSON string. This is what I pass. The JSON object which is converted into string, JSON string. JSON string. Okay. See here. What this says is this is the name of the function. Save is the name of the function which I'm calling here. From here, I'm calling the function save function which I'm going to write inside code.js. Now once that save function gets successfully executed, so it's going to call save success function which I'm going to write inside this, inside the front end code. Okay, let us go and write the save function here. Where I'm writing this save function in the backend code, that is code.js. So function save, and I'm passing one argument, that is JSON string. Let me give data. Now the JSON string gets copied to data. Okay. Now it is in the string format. So let me just say logger. Here you cannot use alert because this is the backend code. At the backend code, alert will not work. So there's something called as logger. So logger.log, just to check whether my data is coming here or not. Okay. Let me write data. Let me save. So to observe the log, it is better if you change it to the legacy editor. I'm just going back to the legacy editor. Okay, so the same function logger.log data I've written. Let me close this, go to publish, run the latest code. I'll write 1BI 16 CS 350 ABC and then semester 5. I click on save now. See object and my JSON string. Now if I click on OK, so if it has called the save function which I've written in code.js, so the log has to be created. I come back here, go to view, click on logs. Okay, no function to run this area. 1 second, let me rerun it again. B50 ABC and then semester is 6, save. Okay, come back here, go to view, logs. Okay, that means it's not calling. It's not calling this. Okay, why? Because I got to write the success function, save success function. Let me come here. The function that should be called after the save function in the code.js execute successfully. Here I'm writing function save underscore s u c c e s s. Here let me write alert. Save so I'm running it again. 1BI 16 CS 350 ABC 6. Okay, save success. From where this is called? From here. See, this called save. It comes here. The save function gets executed. After this is successfully executed, again it comes and calls this function save success, which I've called, and I got this message. That means now the log should be created. Go to view logs. Oh, 1 second. Logger, 1 second. Logger.log data. So save success. Okay, log is not coming. Function save. Oh, semicolon is missing. Sorry, I'd missed the semicolon. B50 ABC 6. Save success. Okay. Okay, let me write the other things. Okay, save. I think it's. Let me write. Give a different name. Save data to Firebase save data to Firebase. Okay. So I'll go for converting this data, which is in the string format, again back to the JSON format. So where, so let me say JSON data is equal to JSON dot parse. So you got to pass the string data, that is data. Now you can go for extracting the data. So where USN is equal to JSON data of, so key is USN in uppercase, where yes name is equal to JSON data of name. So this key what you are writing here, it should match with this key what you have used here, USN name and SEM. So where SEM is equal to JSON data SEM. So now let me write logger. This logger I'll remove. Logger dot log USN. USN is equal to this USN logger dot log name plus yes name logger dot log SEM. Let me save, and so save data to Firebase. Here also save data to Firebase. Okay. So one DI 16 CS 350 ABC semester 6. Save success. Now if I come here, view log. Okay. Google script.run with success handler. This with user object, this save data. Okay, so let me, because this I don't know why that log is not displaying. Let me open the one more, which is the same as this, which I've already written here. I'll show you there. Yeah, this sample. Yeah, this is the same code which I've already written. Just before starting the session, I was just trying all these things. So Google script.run with success handler, success save, user, object, this, save data to everything is. Then let me run this and show you the same thing. So I'm save function it is, which I'm calling, and I'm checking whether the user has entered the USN year, yes name year, semester year, and then reading everything and assigning it to USN, creating the JSON object here, and then calling this, converting it into a JSON string and calling this function. Let me go to deploy, run the latest code. Okay, so here you can see read data, delete, modify, everything I've written. So let me check for this. One BI 16 CS 352. So PQR semester 5. So I click on submit. So save successful, it is saying. Now I come back here and I go to view. So view log. So you can see here, this is a log data. So displayed by whom? So USN, name and semester. Name I gave it as PQR and USN I gave it as 1BA16 CS352. So this logger.log is printing. So I don't know why logger.log is not working there. And then so I'm parsing it into again JSON data. Now this is the base path URL. So this is my link of the JSON, sorry, Firebase database, which I'm copying from here. This is the, so sample one, yeah. So this is the link. So this entire link, I've copied it and I've pasted it here. Here. So I've created a variable with the name base path, and base path is equal to my Firebase database URL. Okay. Now here, so base path is this complete thing. Let me write here, and then to that I'm appending data of USN. So data of USN, student USN, whichever I'm entering in my text box, it will take. Okay. So let me just say logger dot log URL. Okay. So I'm displaying the URL here, and after that I need to save my data to the Firebase database. No, for that this is the, so this is the Firebase API, Firebase app API dot, and there is a method with the name get database by URL, and this URL I'm passing. This is the base path URL till here, and I want to save it under the key value USN, student USN, and then how to save it. So this object, base object dot set data, and what data to set? The data which is available here, which is converted into the JSON. Okay. So I'm saving this. So let me show you in the database. See, just now I inserted this 16 1BI 16 CS352 semester, say name and USN. This is how it gets stored, and these are the two things which I had already inserted. So let me insert one more and show you along with the log data. So now let me make it as 353. Okay, I need to refresh because I made the changes to the backend code. 1BI 16 CS 353, some name and semester, submit. So save successful. Now if I go to, say 353 is added. So can you people see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'll show you the log also. View log. So the latest log you can see here. So this is the data which I tried inserting. So the key value pair USN and the value, yes name and the value, semester is the key and 5 is the value, and this is the path where it is inserting. So this is the base path till here it will come, and the data get inserted as this. Just under this key, USN, name and semester is getting inserted. I'm showing you here. See, this is the key. Under this key, so these are the data that is inserted. So hope people understood. See, if I'll show you one more thing. Now here, if I again write, so plus slash and then the same thing I'll repeat. The student USN. Now it gets inserted. Base path. Student USN is the key. Inside that student USN, again one more key with the same USN will be created, and inside that name, semester, and the student USN gets saved. Let me save this and run again. So refresh. So 1BI, 16 CS, 354, a different USN, different name. Sorry. And semester. Submit. So save successful. Now if I come to the database, see 354. If I expand this, inside 354 there is one more key with the 354 created, and if I expand this, you can see the data. So why is it like this? This is different from this now, because inside this key there is I have one more key, child key, that is again the same USN. Now what I have to do, I have to remove this. This is not just to show you people. I wrote this. This is not required. And so this is for saving. Okay, the data to the Firebase. Now how to read the data from the Firebase? To read the data from the Firebase, again, I have done this. So I had shown you till here, save. Now I'm creating one more button. Input type is equal to submit. Value is equal to read data. On click, read I'm calling. Okay. So if I go here, this is the button which I'm creating, read data. Now when I click on that, it calls read. So I've written the read function here. I'll show you. Yeah, this is the function read, which is there in the front end code. Okay, it calls this, and again for reading, I need only the USN. Okay, so I'm reading USN. If user is clicking on the button read without entering the USN, I'm saying please enter the USN to read, and then creating the JSON object, adding the USN, converting that into string, and then sending the same. And what is the function which I'm calling? Read data from the Firebase. So read data from Firebase function is written here. Read data from Firebase. I'm just saying read called, then JSON parse I'm doing, converting it into JSON data, reading the USN, and then see this logger data just to confirm myself whether everything is working fine or not. And then the base path URL I'm building. Base path URL is this. And to that I'm adding the USN. So and the URL also I'm printing. So how to get the data? It is object base dot get data. Instead of set data, it is get data. So get the data, the data which we read from the Firebase, it is again in the object format, JSON object format, to send it to the front end because I need to display at the front end. So I'm converting that back to the string format. And then, so after converting it into the string and before returning, I'm just displaying logger.log just to confirm myself whether the data is successfully converted into the string format, and then return. When this returns, so this is the function read success. Read success gets called. So what I'm doing inside the read success, where is read success? Yeah, here it is, read success. It comes here. Now here the data which is in the string format, JSON data which is in the string format, I'm converting it into the JSON object and then creating a table, HTML table it is. See, table, I'm giving the ID to the table as 1, and I'm having the headers USN, student name, and semester. And to this, the values are data of USN, data of name, data of semester. And closing the table tag. And here I've created a due tag in order to print the table, a division tag. So ID is print table. And here I'm assigning this my table content variable content to as inner HTML to this div tag with the name print table print. Okay. Now the data gets printed in the table format. So let me come here. So Name and semester is not necessary when you're retrieving the data of the student. Let me click on read data now. See, so this is the alert which I've put. See, read is success, and this is it's saying this is what the data that is read. And when I click on OK, it gets displayed in the form of the table also here. Oh, okay. Table is displayed, but it's saying undefined, undefined, undefined. Why undefined? Because the names are not matching. So now here, okay. So because for that USN, so I've given this double thing. This is not there. Let me delete this. So this is the pattern. Okay, 353. Let me take 353. So data exists. It will come. Read data. So read success. So you can see here also. Semester is 5. S name is asset. USN is this. If I click OK, it is in the table. This is how you can read the data, and deleting is also there. I'll show you how to delete. So for delete again in my front end code, so there is one more input type submit button created. On click, I'm calling delete data. Let me come here with so delete data again USN I'm reading. So if USN is not entered, it says please enter the USN to delete, and after that, so I'm calling this delete data from Firebase, which is defined inside the backend code code.js. So delete data from Firebase. So all this thing is same. So base path URL, and after that, the name of the function is base.remove data. Set data, and while reading it is get data, and while removing it is remove data. Okay. So let me, and after this function gets executed, so it calls this delete success, which is there in the front end code. Where is it? This is read success. Yeah, delete success is here. I'm just saying because delete you don't have to display anything, right? So I just say an alert message delete is success. Okay. So I'll refresh this. 1 BI 16 CS. So 353. So let us say I want to delete this. I click on delete now. So alert. See, delete is success. If I go to my Firebase database, so 353 is not there, which was earlier inserted, is deleted now. So now let me delete 352. So delete success. The 352 is removed. Okay. So now similarly, I have for read is delete is done. Modify update is also there. Okay. So if I say 352, I've deleted. Let me go for 351. And then I don't know what is the name of 351. It is XYZ. Say I want to change it to PQR.